the show, everyone. Now, everybody that's listening right now is going to need to hear what we're going to be talking about for the next hour. We're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. I have with me Karen Rossner, and she's the owner of KMR, financial coaching services. Now, why do I say that everybody's got, a lot of people are spending a lot of money right now. You not only focus on people's financial situations, and we want to explain to everybody that you're not a financial advisor, but you're more of a coach. And this is something that people got to understand as she's talking. But also she focuses on medical debt. Listen up, everyone. There's so many people that are in medical debt, and she can help. And I've heard so many great stories that you have done for people. You're also an author. This little woman, and I know that not everybody can see here that's listening, but the people that are watching us on Facebook, which is really fun to do, go to Networking Arizona right on Facebook and watch us in here doing this show live. I want you to know about this little woman. She is the most powerful little gal that I've ever met, and she was born powerful. And she has a story, and she wrote a book, and I want you to tell everybody first about your story and then why you wrote your book.
Okay. Well, thank you, Carol, and hello again. And I was born back in '63, and I was the seventh of 8 children. And when I was born, I was good, and then when I got home, I didn't cry, and I slept all the time. I didn't cry when I needed a change. I didn't cry when I was hungry. I just slept. And my mother knew that there was something wrong because she had 6 other children prior to me.
So they knew that crying was going to happen, but they were almost thankful probably in the beginning when you think about crying babies and up all night. But my mother called the pediatrician and she told her about what's going on. He goes, you have a good baby. He goes, no, there's trouble. So about a couple weeks later, I was being baptized, and I started turning blue. Ooh.
I started turning blue in the creases of my nose, my lips, and my fingernails and toenails turned blue. They immediately finished the baptism and immediately rushed me to the emergency room, and I had double pneumonia, which means I had pneumonia in both lungs, and my heart was twice the size it was supposed to be.
Wow.
And this was in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I was helicopter to Boston Children's Hospital, and that was my home for a year. I had to get emergency heart catheterization, and then the next day I had to have emergency open heart surgery because my lung vessels and blood vessels were reversed. And what that means is my blood that was supposed to go back to the lungs to get reoxygenated was going to the body, and the blood that was coming from the lungs was going back to the lungs. So I was getting unoxygenated blood.
Mm.
But good thing happened was I had a hole in the heart.
And so it was kind of going out?
No, and I know a hole in the heart is not a good thing, but it got a little bit of oxygenated blood to me, a little bit. So I had to have my first open heart surgery at 9 weeks old.
9 weeks old.
I've had several since then, and then I had a transplant. I had 6 open heart surgeries, 2 strokes, 2 bouts of bacterial endocarditis, which is a blood infection to the heart, and 7 pacemakers, 2 defibrillators. Well, before the defibrillators, I had a cardiac death, and then 2 defibrillators. I had a baby in between all that, and then I had my transplant.
Now, you have a saying that you like when people say that you probably won't be able to do something. What do you say when they say that?
They told me I couldn't. That's why I did.
Which will probably be a sequel to her first book. Now, you are one of the #1 best-selling authors off of Amazon, if I'm not correct. And this book, I want you to talk a bit about it because it's called My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet. Listen up, everyone.
Okay, the reason I named this book My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet is when I was 12 years old, I had my 5th open heart surgery. They told me it was my last. It wasn't. But it was a new procedure from from the UK, and it was new in the US. And Dr. Mustard did the procedure in the UK, but over here, and over here wasn't, like I said, it was new, and children that had it, they had a 50% chance of surviving the surgery. If they survived the surgery, they only lived 12 hours afterwards.
Wow.
They told my parents that, and when they told my parents that, and I saw my mother cry for the first time. I mean, she probably cried behind closed doors. And I was 12. I didn't know what that was at stake. And I said,
Yeah,
well,
12, you know, you're invincible, right?
yeah, but I'm like, well, Mom, if it's going to make you that upset, I won't have the surgery. And she goes, no, you don't understand. And I didn't. I didn't understand that I needed the surgery. So I had the surgery, and like I said, in 1975. And I'm here. It was more
And
than
that's
12
way
hours.
past 12 hours.
And when I saw the doctor 6 weeks after, he goes, who are you? And I was 12, I had an attitude. And I was like, I'm Karen Rosner. And he goes, I didn't expect you to live after 12 hours. I was like, my 12 hours aren't up yet. He gave me a kiss on the cheek, said I had a good life, and God bless.
And you know something, God bless you, is true. Because, and we mentioned in the beginning how you help people with their financial situations, medical. You are also, I want to talk, you are a social worker. You help people who are getting transplants. That's one
Yes.
of the things that you happen to, be a expert on, I should say it
Yes.
that way. And we're going to open up the lines of the audience for everyone to get entered into win. This book is called My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet. And this is a feel-good book for people who, just never really feel like they could really do anything. Or see, maybe you know somebody who's getting a transplant. There's a lot of people that get them. I mean, I've met more than one before, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Some of you even have more than one transplant.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you're just, tell them the reasons why you want everyone to read the book.
Because it's like Carol said, it's a feel-good story, but it's also about encouragement and inspiration. And a few of my friends have read the book, and they told
Yes.
me afterwards that they read the book. They're like, "Oh my!" and they were crying. And then they're like, "Why are you doing that, Karen?" They're talking to me in different chapters, and they were yelling at me, and they were crying for me, and they were celebrating me.
Yes, and let me
That's
just tell
what
you
it is.
something too about this book too. You will be able to celebrate not only doing it for somebody else or for Karen, but for yourself.
Mhm.
It's about having, the strength
Yep.
to move on. And you dealt with health issues. There's a lot of people that deal with financial issues,
Yep,
and that's
yep.
one of the reasons why you do what you do. But all sorts of reasons that why you think that some days you just can't get out of bed. But you know what? Your 12 hours aren't up yet either.
Oh no, I still have a lot of hours left in me.
So we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered into win. This book is called My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. We're going to talk about a lot of different things while we're here today. Mainly, we're going to talk a little bit obviously about Karen, but also about people's financial situations, people who are in medical debt especially.
Oh yeah.
And now we'll go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further about this, because I want them to explain, you to be able to explain how you do what you do, and she's great at it. So call in here. Our number here is 602-277-5369. And then we'll come back. We're going to talk a bit further. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, we're still live in the
Yeah.
room, so we're
Yep.
going to keep on going.
Yep.
I do want you to talk a little bit about your position as being a social worker, but how you know all the codes. I want you to tell stories of
Okay.
how some of the things
Because
that
I
you've
can't
done.
mention where I work though.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that. No, but you can say
Yeah.
what you do and why that has helped you. Help people be able,
Oh,
because
yeah,
you know
yeah.
all the codes, you know what to look for
Yeah.
other people. And then I want to hear stories.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Are you liking what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to get, the other thing I need to get in front of me is your website. And we want to talk about one thing else that we didn't talk about with the book is the foundation.
Yeah,
For New
foundation,
Lease on
yep,
Life. I
yep.
got that.
Yep.
Okay.
So, that sounds good, and it's going well.
Yes.
So-
I mean, what's really cool is that you took a situation that happened to you,
Mhm.
and, I don't think you ever really thought throughout your life that you were going to write a book, but
Well, people have told me.
you
and
should write a book.
I have a friend, and I dedicated to her also in the first chapter, I think. And my friend Lori from my hometown, she goes, "You gotta write a book. You gotta write." Yeah. And she kept on saying that, and I was like, "Yeah." And so I finally wrote the book. And last June, when I went back home, when I got the books, my first shipment of books, I took the first one out, and it was for Lori. And I didn't give it to her. I didn't mail it to her. I gave it to her in person.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And I put it on, I taped it, and I was like, "Here's the book," and she was so happy.
Oh, she must have really been
Yes.
thrilled
I
for
was
that.
like, "Here, you can stop bugging me about writing a book now." So,
I don't know if I got down to it. Mm-mm.
okay,
No, you have a minute.
okay,
I'm just looking at some notes here.
okay. So,
Yeah, I think for you, it has to be so rewarding when you work with your people. I think what I would love to also talk about how you do your spreadsheet,
yes,
right? And
Yep.
how people see that right
Yes.
out in front, and how we
Yep.
were like looking at all of that. Amazing what people will see when it's done in color
Yes.
as well. Not
I
just
like
written
color.
down. I like that too.
I like color and I like organization.
So welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook in here, and what's really fun is I get to talk during the segments when we go to a commercial breaks. We talk in here on Facebook live, and I get to kind of go over some more things that I want to talk, but also learn more about each client as well. Karen, first of all, I wanted to bring back to with this book. It's My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet. In anybody who faces any kind of situation, it doesn't have to be health, it can be anything.
Right.
This is a book that will give you encouragement, and whether it's you or someone that you know. Also, you have a foundation. I want you to tell them about the foundation, and that the proceeds that from this book go to that.
Yes, and I'm not busy enough, so I started a foundation. I work as a social worker. I have my own business, and I have a foundation. And the foundation is to help transplant patients. And if they can, what the foundation helps with is if they need assistance with their co-pays for medications. We do not give anybody any money. We pay for it with our card. And with for co-pays for their medications, co-pays for medical appointments, and travel and lodging. If they're over 200 miles from the transplant center and their insurance does not pay for travel and lodging, my foundation will assist with that. And it's whatever they need, but I pay the hotel, or the foundation pays the hotel. Like I said, we don't give any money to anybody.
It goes straight to what they're using
Yes.
it for. And there's so much, and of all people, because you've walked the talk
Yes,
about
I
this.
have.
I should say unfortunately, but fortunately, because out of something bad, something good happened. Now the foundation is called Your New Lease on Life.
Right.
And you can check out her foundation. You can also check her out on her website. She'd love for you to go to it. They just updated a new one. It's really
Yes.
pretty, pink and black.
Yep.
If I remember correctly.
And blue.
You're debt-free quickly. So you're debt-freequickly.com. And that's the other thing about Karen. And we're going to go kind of backwards here, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Is that Karen, when you work with her, as having her as your coach, she helps you get through this quickly and
Yes.
explain to them why you do what you do, how you do what you do, and how you do it so well.
And when I'm doing financial coaching, personal financial coaching, I love working with people. And what I do is I have them first track their expenses for a month to the penny. And it's like, oh, if this book is $12.99, I don't want you to put $13. It's $12.99. Or if this pen is $5.45, put $5.45, not $5 or $6. Don't round it up. And so I have had clients give me their tracking sheets, and then I analyze it, and I put it in categories: groceries, gas, household like rent, electric, and items, and then their debt, and then their personal hygiene, whatever the categories may be. And then eating out in restaurants, and eating out is fast food. Restaurants where you go and sit down. And I had a client that liked to do crafts, and she spent like $400, $500 a month on her crafts. And she goes, I don't spend that. I'm like, those are the numbers. I'm not making them up. And they don't realize how much they're spending. And when I do the tracking sheet and then meet with them via Zoom, they's like, oh, I do spend that.
Yeah.
And it's an eye opener for them. Or I buy that much coffee during the month, and it's like, yeah, you do. Or go out to eat, and where their grocery bill is $100 and their eating out is $300.
We tend to do that, and we tend to not look at our money a lot, especially this time of the year.
Mhm.
People overindulge a little bit more so.
And the thing is, the way I tell my clients, and when I do my show, my broadcast on Zoom from my website, is I know Christmas is gonna be, you wanna buy the kids these expensive things, the toys and whatever they want. You wanna get them everything on the wish list. But remember, it's not the gift and how much it costs, it's the thought that goes behind it, and I mean that. If you really look at what you're spending for Christmas, and you get these toys, and a week or two after Christmas, they're not playing with the toys anymore.
Right.
They're bored with their new toys. So what I did with my son when he was younger is we got him gifts. We gave them to him for a couple of days, and we took them away, some of them away, and we didn't throw them away. We took them away, and we recycled the toys, and like, oh, it's new.
Yeah.
So, and then he got a new toy, and we didn't have to spend any more money.
Well, what's really smart is that she is putting it all in categories. She's
Yes.
colorizing everything, and when you see it, and I think people need to understand, there's so much money that we spend that we don't realize that we're spending the money on. And one of the things that you mentioned about with people is that when they use either it's their debit card, or rather than using cash, you almost rather than using cash because they see it going.
And it hurts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it hurts because it's, like Carol said, you see it going. I can give Carol $10 and there goes my $10.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'll make $10 back, but I won't have that $10. And swiping card, either credit or debit, you don't feel the pain. You don't see it going away. You look at your ledger and you look, okay, there it is. Oh, why did I spend that?
Mm-hmm.
And, even for groceries, you have a budget, make a budget. And, I make budgets with my clients, and I have them do cash for groceries, gas, and some of the household items. And whatever they could do for cash, I want them to do for cash.
Well, it's important that, when you are trying to save money, and I know this is a very precarious time of the year when people tend to overindulge, but it's a new year. It's a new you, and you can do this anytime, and she loves to help people, and we're gonna talk also about the medical debt that people are in that you can help them with. You can check her out on her website, is yourdebtfreequickly.com. She does free consultations. You can call her direct. Her number is 808-253-1157. Go check her out. It's yourdebtfreequickly.com. You are a social worker. You help people also with their medical debt.
Right.
Tell real quickly, maybe a quick story of what you do, a little story of how you've helped people with medical debt.
With medical debt, I have a lot of stories, but for one of my clients, she had a $6,300 ambulance ride, and it was in California. She was a VA. They wouldn't take the VA, and so I just I called the company, told her what was going on, and they wrote off one of the bills, and then the second bill they brought it down to Med-Cal, which is California Medicaid. Her $6,300 bill went down to $140.73.
I'm telling you right now, that woman is kissing you like you can't believe. And the reason is because Karen knows. Karen knows who to talk to.
Yes.
She knows how to talk to them. She knows the codes. We're going to talk a little bit about that too when we come back. Because if you're in medical debt, and a lot of people are, I think that is one of the number one reasons why people go bankrupt is because of medical debt.
Yes, and I have clients that, I went in to see a patient, and she goes, I had to pay, they're charging me $500 for this appointment, and I had to pay $25 for my medicine. I'm like, well, let me see your bill. And I called, and they're like, they didn't process her insurance. And she has access, and she didn't have to pay anything. So there's the $500 I saved her. I called the pharmacy, and they didn't process her insurance on the medication, so there's a $25. So I saved in 1 hour $525 for that patient.
So let me just tell you something. People try and do these things on your own. What makes Karen unbelievable is that she catches and knows the questions to ask. You look at the bills and with different set of eyes, and it's wonderful to have, whether it's for you or someone that you know. Please get out of debt, not only out of debt, but get out of medical debt. You don't have to be in medical debt. You can check her out on her website. It's yourdebtfreequickly.com. You can also call her direct. It's 808-253-1157. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further.